If I were starting again today, I would do one thing differently. I would stop believing that being self-taught makes you more legitimate. Masters sure didn't figure it out alone, and neither should you. Hey everybody, I'm Zara with Watercolor Wizardry. Today, I wanted to share with you what I would do differently if I were to start learning watercolor all over again today. Okay, so when I wanted to get back into art, I decided on watercolor because I thought it was one of the easier painting mediums to start with because kids did it. So I thought that means that's the easiest one. So that was the one that I was going to use to get back into art. And granted, for years, I stopped thinking about art, which was weird because when I was growing up and in high school even, I was into art and I was even submitted to competitions and won them and stuff like that. And then for a long time, life, was lifing. And I didn't think about art for years, which was weird. And then when I had some time and more money and more settled, I decided to get back into it. And I chose watercolor because it's easy, right? Okay, so anyway, what do most people do when they want to learn something new? Most people go to YouTube and look up, how to do the thing. Well, that's what I did. Normal, totally normal. So I go online, look for videos how to paint in watercolor, and I start trying to learn watercolor and learning all the different supplies, buying all the different supplies, learning about all the different colors and all the different pigments and then all the different brands. So I ended up collecting a bunch of supplies, feeling like I was making progress in my painting as I was buying the things. That's the easy part. Buying the stuff is the easy part. Doing the work is a different story. So I start trying to paint, and I don't realize at all that supplies make a big difference to your results and your journey, like how enjoyable this journey is. So I buy, paper that said watercolor on it, watercolor paper, but it was student grade, and it sucked. It was so bad. Well, I mean, for me, you can paint things on it. You can get away with certain styles. This is where styles comes in, but different styles can get away with different supplies because it'll allow them to do what they need to do for that style. So different styles require different supplies. That's something I needed to learn because even though I didn't know what I was wanting as far as styles go, I pretty much am a realistic style kind of person. That's my favorite. Very detailed work, accurate work, that kind of thing. So that's my favorite. And I had no idea, no idea that the best for that is very good watercolor paper. In watercolor, the paper is the most important supply. I had no idea, I had no clue, and none of the videos that I watched even mentions that. But that's not the creator's fault. They don't know me, they don't know where I'm coming from. But yeah, that's where I was. So here I was with my supplies, and I was just gonna start teaching myself because I had this false belief that artists teach themselves to be legitimate artists. Anyway, so I start to paint a 3D circle, spherical thing showing light and shadow for realism. And utter failure, utter failure. The paper starts buckling. I don't know what's going on. The water, because you're dealing with water and watercolor, slides to the edges and just does its own thing, has a mind of its own, and I cannot make sense of it. It was so frustrating, and I was so sad and devastated. I had no clue, and I didn't know where to go, who to ask, nothing, right? I didn't know what I was doing. And that's the sad part with a lot of people who start watercolor. They don't even realize that it's not them, it's the supplies. So there I was, frustrated with myself because supposedly, when I was growing up, I was good at art. And then I didn't think about it for a long time. And now I don't even know what I'm doing. And my ego was shot. Watercolor kicked my butt. And from that point, I just let go and like, I give up. I don't want to do this. I had avoided painting for a long time because I've always done work in mediums like graphite and pastel, Conte, colored pencils. Mediums that solid, behaved, stayed put where you put them. That's what I was used to. And this whole painting thing was a different thing. And then watercolor on top of that is even more wild. So looking back, I would do a couple things differently. First of all, I would change my mind about believing that self-taught meant being alone and learning on your own. That is the biggest. There's so many lies. That's one of the biggest lies. Not even masters did that. Why would you? It's so dumb. You don't reinvent the wheel. You don't like go out to eat and then try to recreate that dish without a recipe. The recipe was already done. It's already available. You just follow the recipe. You don't go learning it on your own. It's so needless and wasteful of time. You cannot get your time back. All the great masters learned from others. They were apprentices to other masters. There's a saying, if you want to reach greatness, stand on the shoulders of giants. That's what that means. You learn from the people who have already done the work, and they will get you there faster. Number 2, I would focus on the style that you want to learn and find a teacher that will help you with that. You will cut down on time, cut down on the cost of the supplies that you end up buying because you're watching all the YouTube videos and you go down rabbit holes. And then you get collector syndrome, just like I did. But you know, I love all my supplies. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's fun. I love all the stuff I have. No big deal, right? No big deal. And it's not like you wouldn't use all the stuff that you buy anyway. I find that everything that I've purchased or whatever, I end up using anyway. So no big deal really, but if you want to get to the point, skip all that and find a mentor. Find a mentor that'll teach you the style that you like, and find a mentor that you enjoy watching or learning from. And 3, understand the process. So you know how YouTube videos, they're like 8 to 15 minutes? In my brain, I thought that it would take that quick to create a beautiful painting. The first painting that I tried to do with a tutorial that was 15 minutes long took me 8 hours because I didn't know what I was doing. For one, it did turn out beautiful, but holy moly, I was struggling. I didn't know that my house was very dimly lit. I lived in Seattle at the time too, so it's already gloomy, it's already gray. But I was struggling trying to paint that painting and waiting for the layers to dry and not having it move and all that. And at that point, I did get really good paper and it did hold the pigments really well. And I did buy professional level paints, and all those things helped. But come on, I was looking at a 15-minute video thinking it was going to take me, 2 hours at the most. But as a beginner, I didn't know what I was doing, and I had to add even more details to the painting because it wasn't turning out the way I wanted it. It took me 8 hours, took me my day off, basically. So I had no idea. But understand that creating a painting, especially more on the but more on the realistic side, will take time. So understanding that enjoying the process of it is a skill. Patience is a skill. So that part I would actually also try to impart on someone that's just starting. If it's realism, if it's the hyper style that you like, it takes time. It's not a 15-minute thing. So in closing, let's reiterate the 3 points that I would impart to somebody new that's starting watercolor, especially in hyper. Number 1, self-taught. Being alone is not the way to go. Not even masters did that. So why would you do that? Number 2, focus on the style that you like in watercolor. I happen to like hyper, so I looked for that kind of painting and then found the mentor that I wanted to learn from, and there we go. And number 3, paintings take time. So, you know, take it easy and enjoy the process. The whole journey is the point of the painting. The end result is great, but it's really the journey, the all along the way, all the problem solving, all the, you know, mistake corrections that happen when you're doing paintings. Those are all part of the journey, and enjoy all of that part of it and the learning. So a lot of the times people, you know, follow tutorials and then they get dependent on tutorials. And that's actually what I wanted to avoid when I decided on doing Watercolor Wizardry Academy. The whole point is to get you to fly on your own. So from the beginning, the whole intent is for you to do it on your own, to start doing challenges where you're creating your own projects, and then it's guided from there. There are tutorials, of course, to get you to understand the medium and to understand your supplies. But the whole point of the Academy is to get you to do things on your own and fly away from being so step-by-step guided. So if you enjoyed this video, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to follow or subscribe. And if you're interested in joining Watercolor Wizardry Academy, right now we're focusing on hyper, we're focusing on building the course and building the membership, and to paint together, basically, and have a place to ask questions and all that. Sign up for the waitlist. It'll be in the description. I will see you next time. The next video, let's see, why I decided on starting with hyper-realistic for beginners. There's a lot of good reasons why I decided on starting with hyper first, even as a beginner. And I will divulge all those tidbits in the next video, which should be this side, right over here. There should be the video. If you're watching this early, it'll be a different video, but as the week goes by, it'll be showing up right here. Okay, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.